I mean, I love him. And what else?
That's enough adjectives. That's all right.
No,
you know.
I love Daniel. I love him, and I'm so happy to be back.
Hey, welcome to the channel. In this video, we'll be looking at women thirsting over Daniel Craig's physique. We'll also reveal his fitness regimen and some interesting facts about his life. Let's do it.
For me, he's the greatest, and he's really like the James Bond of my generation. The first time I went to the cinema to see a James Bond film was Casino Royale. And I think what he did with the character is just, he made him more human in a way.
Daniel is not a fan of last-minute training, instead opting for as much time as possible to prepare. Typically, he likes to start a fitness and diet routine about a year prior to filming. He says it results in less injuries. Daniel's role in No Time to Die requires agility, flexibility, and stamina. James Bond has to sprint downstairs and jump over fences. That means giving him insane muscles wouldn't have worked.
I got to really play with these characters, and I love Bond. I've always loved Bond, and particularly Daniel. So it still feels very surreal to me, but it was an amazing experience.
Daniel Craig's trainer got him to perform mostly bodyweight exercises and agility drills. The workouts consisted of exercises like assisted pull-ups and mountain climbers on a Bosu ball. Daniel also used resistance bands for stretching and jumping over hurdles. He also performed a lot of planks and plank to pikes. Sounds exhausting.
I'm looking forward to working with Daniel again because this is my second film with him. We just finished shooting together like 3 months ago, so it's nice to be back together.
A typical breakfast for Daniel was rye bread with poached eggs, avocado, and kimchi. He alternated between vegan, pescatarian, and protein-heavy meals throughout the week, limiting red meat to just Fridays.
There's a certain documentary you can see called Being James Bond, and if you see the effort he's put into it, you will recognize the dedication, the commitment, and the exhaustive nature of what it takes to be Bond.
Daniel also kept his intake of shakes to strictly post-workout. The shakes were made with nut milk, protein, and green vegetables. The most exciting part of Daniel's nutrition regimen was turmeric juice shots and lemon and ginger shots.
Flaws and imperfections, and that's, I think, why the audience can really relate to him, because he's more human in a way.
Daniel's commitment to Agent 007 started way before No Time to Die. He had his body insured for $9.5 million after he filmed his first Bond film, Casino Royale. He lost his 2 front teeth during filming, and although they got replaced, he couldn't take any chances. Daniel also quit smoking and put on 20 pounds of muscle for the next film, Quantum of Solace. While that sounds like a challenge,
That's very disrespectful.
I'll come and see you soon. See you. Don't shut your face. So are you.
Oh, right there, y'all.
No, that's you.
there was one perk of the job that made it worth the struggle. He played a big role in choosing the Bond girls. Daniel is the only actor to play a blonde James Bond. He was asked to dye his hair black, but he refused. On top of that, he's not the biggest fan of guns. Standing at around 5'10", Daniel Craig is also the shortest actor to have played James Bond.
I think Daniel brought an incredible amount of humanity to the role, a very nuanced, layered character, and I think he raised the bar very high to be very hard to follow him.
Given the crazy action playing James Bond is not surprising, Daniel has had a few injuries along the way. He's gotten stitches in his face, had screws in his shoulders, and even had the tip of one of his fingers chopped off.
My favorite Bond in Daniel, it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. It really is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. And to now be able to share this with the world after all this time is something I'm elated about.
Before making it to the screen, Daniel was acting in plays. He started out with school productions at the age of 6 and ended up performing with the National Youth Theatre when he was a teenager. His mother was very encouraging of Daniel having a future in acting.
We are very proud to be celebrating Daniel Craig and his last installment, celebrating the fictional hero, James Bond.
It's great now to be finally seeing this film
We had to wait 18 months after it was ready, but we've finally got here.
Daniel Craig was the only actor in Lara Croft Tomb Raider who's a massive fan of the Tomb Raider video games. Daniel actually loves video games in general, but keeps it a secret.
I thought about what Bond is to the world right now, what Daniel's done, how he's created this emotional depth that's so relatable that we really care about.
Daniel loves science fiction shows like Doctor Who and Firefly, and is also a fan of sci-fi movies. Daniel was in a cinema in the United States when a person came up to him and asked if he'd ever been told he looks like Daniel Craig. He answered with a no and walked away. Would you have said yes?
The people in charge of this franchise, including Daniel, who has done such an incredible, exquisite job at shifting Bond into an era that makes sense for me as a young Londoner. I feel like just such an honor.
When Daniel and his girlfriend were holidaying in France, a guy came up and pinched her ass. Daniel went after him and grabbed him, lifting him off the floor. Daniel admitted he doesn't usually resort to violence, but he doesn't like seeing women disrespected.
I mean, come on, you're talking about one of the best actors in the business. I'll go out and say it, that the guy deserves all the recognition from the awards groups in the world, because there's a certain documentary you can see called Being James Bond, and if you see the effort he's put into it, you will recognize the dedication, the commitment.
In case you were wondering, Daniel's background is English, Welsh and Scottish, with some Irish and a little French. He also happens to be a descendant of Sir William Burnaby, who was a first baronet naval officer. Daniel is heavily involved in charity work. In 2015, he was also appointed by the United Nations as the first global advocate for the elimination of mines and other explosives.
He's just everything that you could want, isn't he? He's sort of magnetic and dangerous and unpredictable and wicked and funny and everything. You know, like a real person, I think. He makes him a real human.
Not surprising given his badass persona. Thanks for watching. How do you feel about Daniel Craig's physique? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and make sure to subscribe to our channel for more binge-worthy content like this.
Working with Daniel was such a great experience. First, because I love him. I love him as a human being. He's extremely charming and funny, and I mean, I love him.